I'm Richard Bosworth. I'm the first patient to be treated with CAR-T therapy in the Royal Marsden, Sutton. So the amazing thing about it is the lack of side effects. Yeah? With chemo, you always get side effects of some sort or other. Whereas this treatment is so targeted, it just gets rid of the aberrant cells in your body without affecting anything else, which is just an amazing thing. So, I had my cells were taken away to Germany, were re-engineered, brought back a few weeks later and reinserted. And then, a few days afterwards, I was sort of up and about and no ill effects. I did have a little bit of a raised temperature as they set to work, the T cells set to work doing their thing. And then that was it, which was amazing, really. And such a contrast to the normal chemo story.
So CAR-T is a very sort of innovative treatment. So it's termed a sort of immune therapy. And basically what it is we take the patient's own white cells, so their T cells, and then we reprogram them so that they can sort of specifically recognize the cancer. And what's really sort of novel about this type of treatment is that these cells are live cells, so it's a bit like a sort of live drug, I guess. And these cells will, in some patients, they will stick around for many, many years. And so the idea being that they'll be able to hopefully control the cancer and eradicate it. But then if the patient should have any cells that would sort of come back later on, the CAR-T cells would stick around and be able to sort of get rid of them quite quickly. I think the thing that makes it quite different is the sort of process the patient goes through, because often when you see patients in clinic, you have to explain it's a bit like quite a different treatment because it involves taking their own T cells and then they get sent off to be programmed to sort of be able to see the cancer. It's a bit of a different one to the other chemos they might have had, but it's a really exciting, very novel treatment. So the CAR-T cells are sometimes described as a living drug. And so what that means is that they're present in the patient, and if they come into contact with their sort of with target protein, which is cancer in this case, then they can spring into action and then eradicate the cancer cells, and that can allow the patient to stay in remission.
We've been treating patients with CAR-T cell therapy since 2019, predominantly at our Chelsea site, and that's mostly patients with lymphoma and leukemia. But we recently had the opportunity to treat a myeloma patient with CAR-T cell therapy, our first myeloma patient, as part of a clinical trial. And we did that at the Sutton site. And the reason that's important is because our research team is predominantly based at the Sutton site. So if we're able to gain more experience managing patients on this site, then we hope to be able to engage in more clinical trials, and ultimately that means we'll be able to treat more patients. What's particularly exciting about the CAR-T rollout in myeloma patients in particular is that this is a group of patients who are heavily treated and usually are in treatment programs that require them to come up to the day unit frequently or to take tablets every day at home. But CAR-T has provided this potential opportunity for treatment breaks in this patient population. And that's really exciting because it means that patients have time away from the hospital to get on with their usual lives.
The staff are just terrific. I mean, they're all so competent and they work well together. And it really is a pleasure to see people cooperating together in that. Everybody who's treated me has been very helpful and very, very kind.